Hey, everybody, we are live. Can you hear me okay? I see Jen in the comments and Kathy in the comments. Can you hear me? Put the comments at the bottom. All right. Here is the topic for the day, and then we are going to get to Q&A. Okay, I don't have a lot prepared, but I do have, I need to go to the right. And my head covers that thing. There, we'll be right there. All right. Why dogs respect some people and ignore others. I think this is an interesting, important topic. I've done a little bit of research, written some things down. I've got it segmented, so it's hopefully understandable. And then I want you to write in the comments what you think the answer is, why you think dogs respect some people and don't respect others. And this is actually very important for dog training. So there's a couple ways to break this down because this is complex. And I'm not going to get into like what is respect. Just what do you think respect is? I don't want to get into the definition and then split hairs on if something's respect and if something is not respect, right? Fear. There is probably some level of low-level fear in respect, but respect is obviously much bigger than fear. There's other things, but respect is respect. So I'm going to break it down different ways. The first thing I think in why dogs respect me, why dogs respect certain people is their energy. And I made a video on this a while ago. What is energy? So energy to me is a few things. One is it's the nervous system. Okay? If you're laying with your dog and they can sense the energy, the electricity coming off of your body. If you are shaking, even subtly, they probably think something's wrong with you. They probably think you're sick, you're dying, something. And people have nervous system problems, right? And people actually shake because they have anxiety. I would say anxiety, it's hard to follow somebody with obvious visual anxiety. And I think dogs would be similar. They think you're weak. So anything nervous system, and we all have nervous system problems at times, but you have to try to hide your nervous system problems. I am sometimes scared in my dog training sessions. And so I'm very aware that the leash cannot be tight because the dog will know I'm scared. I have to act not scared. Fake it till you make it. I have to do that all the time. Okay, so you got to fake it till you make it. If you have anxiety, if you have nervous system problems, which are two different things, you got to fake it till you make it. I think, okay, eye movements would be under the energy part of respect. People's eyes tell a lot about them. Dogs can pick up on that. They pick up on your energy, your nervous system, your shaking visually and probably through some other way. They can pick up on your smell, but your eyes too. Are your eyes flighty? Stuff like that. So that's what we're going to kind of call energy. There's more to energy, but that's what I'm going to kind of call energy for right now for this topic of why dogs respect some people. So you got to fake it till you make it. We all get nervous. We all get stressed. We all have nervous system issues at times that affects the way we look and affects the electricity off of our body. But when you're in front of your dog in a difficult situation, or they've done something wrong and you want to correct them, or you want to just lead them in life, you have to try to quell your nervous system reaction, your eye movements, sort of what your body is, what's coming out of your body to the best of your ability. And I'm not saying, it's not like they would respect you. They'll respect you because those things are absent. If those things are there, they will respect you less. If that makes sense. Okay? All right. So that's what we're going to call energy. Second, in no particular order, actually, I'm going to put size and strength at second because I think it probably is the second thing. And then under size and strength is all these things, okay? Size and strength. My video 3 years ago on the I think I did 3 or 4 of my best clients ever. One was an NFL running back who was a big running back. He was about 6'4". That is a big running back for the NFL, and built like this. He was huge. He was one of them. A Cirque du Soleil performer who was jacked was one of them, and some normal guy was one of them. I think there might have been one more. These guys, these 2 out of the 3 had one thing in common. They were physically beasts. Why does that matter? You touch your dog. You move your dog. You grab your dog. In play, your dog jumps on you. And when you come home, your dog jumps on you. If they hit a wall, if they hit a brick house, they know it. The same way when Prince does his bull rush, or he'll just sometimes just go, and just move into a dog. He is not doing it for nothing. Prince speaks dog. He did it for a reason, and it's to say, I can move you. This maybe should have been number 1, to be honest with you, size and strength. You want to learn something? Study Prince dealing with a dog, and don't study the dog trainer dealing with the dog. Now, I understand you got to watch the dog trainer so you know what to do because you're a human. You're not a dog. But really study what Prince does with the dog. And sometimes he's a little much. Sometimes he's too lenient. You got to go, oh, why was he a little much? Why was he too lenient? That's why in my videos, I try to fill in the blanks and guess why he let that dog be that way or why he went too hard on that dog. Sometimes, does Prince make mistakes? Yes. Everyone does. But Prince is probably the better one to watch for some reasons on how you should be and all that. Okay, so size and strength. I get all the time. The guy in the house dog listens to, can we call that respect? Not necessarily, but sort of. The dog listens to the guy, not the girl. It's not a guy-girl thing, in my opinion. It is, the guy's generally taller, the guy generally has wider shoulders, and the guy generally has a deeper voice. Size and strength, okay? Guy's generally stronger, but not always. But he's almost always taller, almost always a deeper voice, and almost always wider shoulders. That's what the dog sees. The dog just sees a bigger organism that he assumes is stronger and has a deeper voice. You know, all animals have a growl. Not all. Alligators, elephants, they have a low-pitched noise that is meant to intimidate. What is a deep human voice? It's more growly. It's deeper. Deepness matters. Whines are high-pitched. So their brain is going to interpret a deeper voice better and different, and they might respect that person more. It's not a guy-girl thing, in my opinion, although I've always just gone to this height, shoulders, voice sort of strength thing. So when I have so it might be something else. If you want to think outside the box, there could be a smell there that is a weaker smell or something. I don't know, but it's probably those 4 things that I said. Okay. So we've got for why dogs are so some people, energy, arguably number 1. Size and strength, arguably number 1. Then I got a lot of other things. Let me go to the comments real quick. You can see them if you're watching this after the live. Someone says, and I've got more. I think those are the 2 big ones, personally. Okay, but I've got more. Oh, there's a lot of comments here. The JR, the dog coach, okay, so maybe a trainer in here, says, it's always been the cleanest communicator, in my opinion. Nothing to do with energy, clean communication. Well, maybe a little energy. Really nothing to do with size and strength. Maybe you could say the stronger person can physically communicate quicker. Dog lunging on the leash Weaker person's getting pulled, arms are extending, so the dog gets farther, which then reinforces the dog for leash reactivity. The stronger person, dog hits the end of the leash, they lunged, but we just didn't give. Stronger person, cleaner communication. So these things can be the same, but cleaner communication. I think they're talking about you did this right, you did this wrong. Yes, I have something similar here. I have clarity. Yeah, I have clarity. I think it's down the list. Personally, you want the big stuff? Control your nervous system and work out. Yeah. We can get to the other stuff. Follow through. Yeah. Spatial pressure. Yeah, it's on my list. When things get crazy, the dog looks at the guy or the girl and goes, wow, they really got it under control. Yeah, it's all important. How about get bigger and stronger and freaking control your nervous system? How about that being the whole thing for your whole freaking life? Forget dog stuff. Lower your stress. I literally did not plan on going that way with this, but as I'm talking, yeah, that's most of people's problems right there, actually. Stress level and size and strength can't get bigger. Well, you can get this way bigger. Anyway, you get it. I'm going with big stuff because I think percentages. I think of that separation anxiety behavior. There's 5 things we can do, maybe 7, but we're going to figure out there's really 3 big things we can do. And almost always there's one that's by far the biggest. Why are we going to focus on the other 5 with the same energy? We're going to focus on the thing that's going to do 60%, while then the next 3 things are going to do 20 and 2 10s. Why the heck would we focus on the 10% method with the same energy we do the 60% method? So focus on your nervous system, focus on your size and strength and what strength does for you. I should say size, strength, and leverage. You can fake the strength thing with leverage, understanding leverage. Middle of a dog fight, you go grab the dog and that dog does not move. I mean, I'm giving not a weird example, but I'm trying to go to the sort of hardest thing, the same thing people seek out dog trainers for. If I went, hey, and I went and I grabbed that dog with all my strength and I walked into that aggressor and I sat that aggressor down, I'm not saying that aggression is going to go away. But if you don't do that, I'm pretty sure that aggression is not going away. The dog's lunging, the dog's almost getting to the dog again. The dog's at the same time going, this person's weak. I can actually take this guy. I can take the guy who's trying to stop. I can take him. Why would you stop the aggression? My aggression program, one of the first 3 videos, I talk about, you need to go work out. First 3 videos. I'm like, you gotta, and I give them a plan of simple stuff. Not everyone wants to go work out, but you gotta get stronger. You gotta get stronger. It's a big deal. Okay. I'm not that strong. I'm not that big. I'm strong enough and I understand leverage enough to do this. Okay. All right. And then predictability, if I didn't say that, would be maybe a 3rd big one. Like you're consistent. And the opposite of predictability is the bad thing. Kind of like the opposite. If your energy is poor, they won't respect you. More than if your energy is good, they will respect you. Okay. Predictability, like you can't fly off the handle. Then they fear you. Then you're unpredictable. So I saw an interview with the lead singer of Smashing Pumpkins many years ago, I think on Howard Stern. And he was abused by his stepfather, I believe. And he said very eloquently, the worst part of the physical abuse was not the abuse. It was the unpredictable nature of the abuse. That's when it messes people up. And I realize is that respect? Is it just losing respect? But it was the unpredictable nature of the abuse that messed him up. He had it dialed in, this guy. He knew what he was talking about. And I've thought about that. And that is true. I was never abused, but I assume that's true. I don't want to speak for people who were abused. It makes sense. It actually makes sense. If you think you're safe and then you're not safe, that's bad. Predictable abuse. I mean, everyone's sort of not abused, but like everyone has tough times in their life and someone is mean to them and maybe somebody is mean to them over a course of years. That's not abuse, maybe, but you kind of want it to be predictable, if anything. You don't want to feel safe and then not be safe. Your dog, you get mad at him for no reason, then that's a problem. Okay. Then a big one for me personally is, where did I write it down? Okay. I wrote down, do others respect you? This is big for children. I think less so for dogs, but nobody in here knows how much it is for dogs. Does the dog or the child, big for children, does the dog see you interact with that other dog or that other person, and that person is showing signs of respect with their eyes, with their body? Kids, boys with their fathers will watch that, and they'll soak that into their soul. I don't know if they ever totally think about it, really. I think it just happens to the kid where they go, their dad is constantly, not even disrespected, just nobody shows my dad respect. And then they become that a little bit. Anyway, dogs probably, see that and internalize that. So if other dogs are showing you respect, if other people are showing you respect and your dog's sitting right there, I think that's an interesting, different thing. Okay. There's some obvious ones, smaller in my opinion. Controlling resources. It's not small. There and spatial pressure I have on here. I'm big into. People call me and they have aggressive situations, and that aggression is due to, in part, lack of respect, whether it's aggression towards them, towards other dogs, whatever. They're small, they're weak, their dog jumps on them when they get home and the person gets hit and falls backwards. I'm like, that's got to go. But one thing I do is I go, when you're walking down the hall and that dog is walking towards you, you do not stop walking. You walk directly into the dog. Now, I don't want them the first time just hit their dog and their dog be all weirded out. They'd like head go down or something. So massage it. But you're the one walking. Like, you don't just avoid your dog. And same for jumping. When dogs come out to me, they will run and they will launch. It's happened years ago, way more than it does now for some reason. And I want them, I'm not that strong, but I will flex up and I will lean forward a little bit. I want them to hit the wall, not hit me and me fall back 6 inches. It registers in that dog's brain instantly. He moved. It's a problem. So the walking down the hall thing is a similar thing. Not as stark as jumping on you and you not moving, but there. And you can do it a lot. I've told people, go to your dog and displace your dog. Not meanly. Just walk into him. Say, I'm walking here. What are you doing? Dog goes, oh my God, walks away. That's only if there's certain set of problems in the house. And I essentially have to look at the person in the eye, have to look at the person's body. I'd prefer to look at the person's house. Then I have to look at that dog. Then I have to look at that dog interact with that person. Then I have to look. Do you know how many of my clients, and this is small, and I actually understand this, there's way worse examples. And in the middle of the session, even though I have a giant bowl of water out there, they take their little bowl of water and they take their bottled water and they put it, as I'm talking to them in the office, and they put it on the ground. And I go, and I look at that, and it tells me something. Do I want their dog to be thirsty? No. But it tells me something. It's not bad. I don't want anybody going, I'm not going to sign up because Joel's going to judge me and putting water on the ground. But it tells me something. Those are the people who generally need to walk into their dog a little bit. Your dog can be uncomfortable. Your dog can be a little nervous of you. It's okay. Your dog is freaking not nervous. Your dog's your dog's best friend. Your dog is your protector. Your dog sleeps in the bed with you. You get them water every time they want it. And they're going to the dog park and they're shouldering other dogs. Yeah, dude, there's nobody bigger and badder in the world than them. Okay. Makes sense. I haven't even looked at the comments. What else do I have down here? Controlling resources, space and doors and sits. I just, it's something, it's small, it's there. But I think I hit the big ones. I went fast, but I think I hit the big ones. Unpredictability breeds mistrust. Good way to put it. Hillary, the dog trainer. Bottom line, people have no business taking on breeds and size they can't handle. That is true. And unfortunately, Hillary, people do it all the time. And I never disparage people who did it for protection. That woman, that mom and daughter who live in that house and they don't feel safe. There's a lot of ways to get protection, and a dog is one of the best. So I don't like to disparage people for getting breeds they can't handle when it's for protection. When it's for another reason, it's not great. But it's a lot of times some lady wants protection. Not a lot, but there's a lot of men who they're men who can't handle it. Kind of never care when a woman gets a dog they can't handle, to be honest with you. I'm not going to get into their life. Sometimes I get into it a little bit to understand, but it's a lot of men who get it. And men need protection too. Don't get me wrong. I like protection from Duke when I'm out. He is protective. It makes me feel good. But yeah, a lot of men do. Men need protection too, ladies. We get scared too. It's crazy out there in the world. Off-Grid Dog says, your dog will actually be less anxious and less nervous if you display leadership in the home. That is true. Confidence and knowing what to do are key. Confidence, I didn't say confidence, but man, you're big and strong and your nervous system is low and you're predictable and you stay calm when things go crazy. That would be about as good a definition of confidence as I could come up with. I use my knees on staircases. I will create the mother of all pileups before I let a charge pass me going down going downstairs. My only no thought physical corrections creates instant hierarchy too. All right. Guns don't randomly snap like pit bulls and rip out jugulars. Jimmy Freeman music is being, what is the word? Controversial in the comments. If you are a calm, consistent person, most dogs will be drawn to you. I agree with Steve Wallace. Steve Wallace says that. A lot of comments in here. Okay. What I miss? Respect. Why some dogs respect people. Guys, if I were you and you need this, you want this, I would focus on energy and size and strength. That's what I would do. Now, the other things are pretty easy, actually. Predictability. I mean, it's not easy. Some people are by nature unpredictable. Spatial pressure, pretty easy. Maybe not easy, but, feed them, have them sit, stay for food. That's not really respect. That's a behavior. Dude, the funniest thing to me is when people come to me and they're so proud, it's usually during the doorway method. I will explain and show them the doorway method, which is my first step to helping leash reactivity and helping loose leash walking. And essentially the first step to helping leash reactivity is loose leash walking. So my doorway method is the first step for this giant problem that is the dog pulling and the dog freaking out. And they will say to me, and they're so proud of it, they'll go, and I never say anything mean to them, but they go, oh, my dog is so smart and he's so amazing. I can do a sit and a stay for food and he will stay there for 5 minutes. And their dog's like dumb as anything in the world, right? And their dog doesn't do anything. And they think their dog's a freaking genius. If you think about the sit, stay for food behavior, it's the perfect behavior. I could train a mouse sit, stay for food. in a week, probably. There is a built-in jackpot. So 100% of the time, they're getting jackpotted. And the behavior is inherently understandable on how to train it to the owner. And there is a no in there. Even if the person never uses no or removal of reinforcement, they do it at this one behavior. And, well, they understand how to train it. And so they understand every small step to take. It's just everyone knows how to do it. You have food, you put it down, you don't let them get to the food. You ask for a behavior, a 1 second sit, you release them, they get jackpotted, you add it to 2 seconds the next day, 3 seconds the next day, and you know that if they ever start going, you remove the food. People just know how to do this. So they think a 2-minute stay for food is somehow comparable to waiting at the door or sitting in the middle of a dog park. It has nothing. They are polar opposites. They're similar, but the people cannot train the latter and can perfectly train the former, if that makes sense. Now, should you do the sit at a dog park and have a minute stay? Do you do it the same way as sit stay for food? Yes. And you have a jackpot built in. But what you can't do is you can't remove the reinforcement in a timely manner when you have the sit stay in the middle of a dog park for 2 minutes. Make sense? Pit bull's jugular. Okay. It's the pit bull jugular killing of things. Trolley. R. Patrick, who is Ryan, says it's harder to get the behaviors without food. Here, I'll show it. I don't know if it's an interesting one. It's harder to get the behaviors without food, especially if you've created a purely transactional relationship. All right. I don't totally know what he's referring to. Is he referring to what I said? Or is he referring to the respect thing? Because that purely, if you created a purely transactional relationship, that kind of threw me a little bit. All right, this person's being nice. Joel has helped me with so many aspects that in retrospect seem so obvious, but when you're in the moment with a spirited pup, I rematch so many kids here. I rematch so many kids here. You guys type so fast. And I know it's hard. I rematch so many kids here. Off-grid dogs. Okay. So, great. You want to know how to train a sit-stay at the dog park? So it's my facility is a dog park. A 14-day board and train. Here's how we train a sit-stay for a minute while a bunch of dogs are running around in 14 days. And really only 28 approximations. Okay? Sometimes less than that. We walk the dog out of the room, day 1, board and train dog. All the follow-up board and trains are running around. We walk them down to an area on leash, work on leash walking. Then we do a sit and a stay, and we maybe take that leash off for a half a second, 1 second. We don't stand up. We hold the collar. We maybe let off the collar 1 millimeter, let's say, and then we release the dog. Then the next day, we add a second, 1 second, and 1 step to it. And the next day, we add 1 second, 1 step to it. And if, by the way, I said 1 millimeter off their collar. That means the second they feel their collar barely release pressure, they leave, we're there to grab them. Then the next day, stay, maybe I'm 6 inches away, still within grabbing distance. Then the next day, a foot away, and a step away. 14 steps, 14 seconds. So I said a minute, but Make sense? So you go to the dog park, you got to go a bunch, and you got to do these tiny things. Now, are you going to be at day 7 of the dog park, 7 steps away, and your dog breaks? That's possible, and that freaking sucks. But work on your stay at home in your backyard so it's not new, obviously. Okay, be ready to track your dog down when it runs away from you at the dog park, and you're going to look like a moron. You go get him, you bring him back, you do a sit stay, and you release them at 6 seconds because you weren't ready for 7 seconds. You thought you were, but you weren't. And then you get 7 seconds the next day. So it takes 15 days. Make sense? Now, I understand dog could run up and hit them, or, run up and they could want to get the dog. There's variables, but that's essentially how you do it. All right. This is a nice, I've watched every single one of your videos, and months later, I realized that watching you has also trained my mind and attitude. Good. This guy is actually a smart guy, girl, because I don't explicitly say in the video, like, do this, do this, do this. My videos are a certain way, right? But if you watch me, and I'm not perfect, but if you watch me and then you sort of think for yourself, you can get the mental part of this thing, and that sounds like what this person does, but it also takes a lot of videos to do. Can you share? So now we're in the Q&A part of this thing for the next, 20 minutes or so. Could you share some interesting examples of using the genetic drive of certain breeds in training, such as border collies, herding, terriers, chasing prey, a mastiff, and guarding? So there are trainers that can answer this question better than me. My job is to take bad dogs and make them good, essentially. Like, I am sort of out of the basic obedience game. And not to say you're asking about basic obedience, but I wouldn't say that in my training, I'm going to take that genetic border collie herding and I'm going to go, how do we use this well? Now, if that border collie is going at the heels, or that cattle dog is going at the heels of other dogs, there is an argument to say, well, the flirt pole, and then they go at the dog, and then we're going to use that prey drive to redirect them or proactively get them into this flirt pole. I am fine with that. And trainers do that. I know trainers that their whole world is a freaking flirt pole. I'm also a little bit in the camp of like squashing a bad behavior and not redirecting a bad behavior and not trying to avoid the trigger with a flirt pole or even with treats. There's time and a place for it. I'm kind of in the squash the bad behavior business. So border collies with herding. Okay, terriers with chasing prey. I don't think I use a lot of terrier prey drive. It's not even prey drive, really. Killing of things. Use it in the training. I understand that it's there, but I wouldn't say I like use it in the training. And then the mastiffs and guarding. How would I use the guarding aspect of a breed to help? Generally, they're sending me the dog because the dog is too guardy. So we need to quell the guardiness. There's many ways to do that, but I can't say that I really do a lot of that. That'd be a little more like basic obedience, like basic stuff. Like my world really is aggression and complex problems. It's kind of not this. And I'm not saying that stuff's easy. It's not. I think my life would be easier if I did do a lot more of that stuff, and I used to a lot. One day, about 6, 7, 8 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, I go, why am I getting so many aggressive dogs? I had no idea. It just after 5 years of owning the business, I started getting all these calls for. I didn't understand. I typed into Google, Beckman dog training aggression or something, or no, San Diego dog trainers aggression, which would be a common Google search. I was like second, and I go, oh, freaking Google just for some reason put me up there for aggressive dogs on their organic search. And there I was. This is before, this is when Google was king of everything. That's how you found everything. And I was like second. And I'm like, oh, that's why I'm getting it all. And I just, what am I going to, those are the people who call me, So it just became that. Joel, can I please help you write a training book? Maybe. I've thought a lot about it. I started writing one. I don't know. It would be good. We talked to publishers, companies. God, what percentage do they take? It's a lot. I get it. They print the books. I mean, you can self-publish now, obviously. Is that the way to go? Tell me. Your friend, maybe you're just a writer and you don't know the industry, but it's tough deal. Okay. Just curious, I heard this once. Should bloodhounds, for their safety, be kept on leash when hiking due to tendency to track? You might lose it for hours. I don't know. I've trained one bloodhound 10 years ago. What was its problem? I don't remember. I don't know. I haven't worked with enough bloodhounds. Guys, I hope if you know me, I'm not going to speak on stuff. If I work with one bloodhound, I don't have an opinion on bloodhounds. I know a little more than you do about them. True bloodhound. I've worked with hounds, but all right. 21-month Doberman comes to long leash, comes with pack dogs, doesn't come when it's just me and him. Yeah, I would say up the treats. Listen, the go-get method is this final thing when you have already done all the work. Up the treats. Make sure that you do the fake leash takeoff method as well, which is hard. But you fake take the long leash off, and the dog cruises. They think they're off leash. They say come. You say come. They say no. They're actually on leash because you only fake took it off. That can be a really good thing too. Up the jackpots. Understand variable reinforcement. So you say come. I'm assuming you come sometimes. You've done it in your backyard. Then you go to that green space with no dogs, but there's a fence. You say come. He comes and you throw a ball for him. He comes and you jackpot him with chicken. He comes and you don't give him anything. He comes, you give him one piece of chicken. He comes, you throw the ball for him. Make him not know what he's getting when he comes back. And then do the go get when they don't do it. That's that final little piece where learned helplessness hopefully kicks in. But you can't. You got to do all the other stuff. Yeah, I've worked with a lot of Samoyeds. They're great. They're cool, I think. I don't think they're like that tough of dogs. They're just like normal dogs. It's not like, oh, they're a Norwegian like bear hunting dog. Like, they're really not. They're not even that big. Rotties need to know what you're doing. Then they are amazing. If you know, things can go really badly quick. I recommend Beckman's program. It's only $150. Oh, puppy program. So this is one of my trainers. You guys should follow her. Yeah, she has the same handle. ITP dog training. I don't want to say my best trainer in the program because there's many good ones, and I actually would never say that. I don't have a best trainer in the program. She's one of them. She's at the top. In New Jersey, has a helper dog, Roddy. Seen a video. He's He's like Prince. She's got to chill his little butt out sometimes. He can be a little much, but he's Prince-ish. Rotties are the best helper dogs, maybe. She's really good. My guess, so ITP, if you're in the tri-state area, see how I did that? Tri-state area. My wife's from New Jersey. Tri-state area, give her a call. I don't know where she is in New Jersey. That's, not the tiniest state, but ITP dog training. LTP. I'm sorry. LTP. LTP. You've 100, Jesus Reigns says, you've 100% changed my mental approach to dogs, more valuable than any how-to train behavior type education. Good. That's what I try to do. We could do the how-to stuff. But it's like raising kids. You want to do it how-to? One, there's too many variables. What type of person are you? What type of person does your child turn out to be? There's no how-to. How about you have a philosophy on raising kids? How about you have a philosophy on raising dogs? And then everything's going to happen within that raising process of an organism. Everything you can possibly imagine will happen. But those philosophies, those systems that are in place can absorb every variable because you have a philosophy. I have a philosophy for puppy training. I have a philosophy for aggression. And within those philosophies, for aggression, I have a system. I did a live on it a year ago. One of my commenters, Ryan, said, you said too much. You freaking gave away the secret for free, is what he's saying. Within that system, which is 5 points essentially, there is all these other things within each one of those things. But it's still a system that I can just go back to. Did I say 5? There's 6. That I or you can go back to. Because there's nothing missing from the system. It doesn't exist. The fix to aggression does not exist outside the system, except in mental illness cases or maybe some other thing. It doesn't exist. If it doesn't exist and we throw out 4 of the 5, we are only left with 2 answers. Let's say it's the handshake method or a version of it for dog-on-dog aggression. That's usually not the answer, but that's one of them. Let's say it's exercise, dominance, and mark and punish. There's 3 things you got to do. Now, within those 3 things, there's some things to do. Not dominance, be the boss. Exercise, you got to be the boss, and we're going to punish the incorrect behavior. How do you punish the incorrect behavior? It's a process. Yeah, you gotta get your dog more exercise. It's not easy. You want to sit on your couch all day and scroll? Yeah, you're not going to fix it because you can't afford to not do one of the 3. It's only 3 concepts. You're gonna not do one of them. You're gonna at least miss 33.3% of the results. Now you have 60%. Now, and you didn't do these 2 perfect. So you only got 20% from this, 20% from this. You were only going to get 33.3% from this, and 33.3% from this, and 30. You didn't do this at all. Now you're down to, but you only got 20. Now you're at 40%, and that's within a perfect system, and you still only got 40%. Now, 20% is expected. You were going to get 33 if you did it perfectly, but you're not. No one is. So you got 20. 20 is not bad. What if you did all 3 of these? You did them all 25%, reduced the behavior 25% per each. Now you're a 75% reduction. That's nothing to shake a stick at. I don't think I use that term right. That's nothing to sniff at. 75% reduction in aggression. And you didn't do anything perfectly, but you're going to leave this one out. Exercise, can't leave it out. It's only one of 3. It's one of 3. It's not one of 20. But the system itself is perfect. My puppy system And when I say perfect, I'm not patting my own back. I've thought a lot about it. I listen to podcasts of people who take complex things and I listen to how they think. And then I created the system based on how they think. And what I did originally is I would sit at this desk and I would have a whiteboard and I have all this stuff. And I'd go, okay, I'm going to make a system for aggression. And I go, oh, what types of aggression are there? There's dog on people. There's resource guarding. There's dog on dog. There's dog on dog within the house. And then I go, okay, but, and then there's trauma involved in many of these cases. And the humans are weak mentally. And then the humans are weak physically. And the people have trauma. And then and I go, well, okay, so I got to break this down into trauma. Okay, trauma-based. And then I got to, or do I do it like this? Do I do sexual aggression, dominance aggression, resource guarding aggression, which look on whatever that big dog training page is, that big one, AKC or something, and go, what types of aggression are there in dogs? Guess what the type of aggression you're not going to see? Aggression. Like I want to go, the dog that wants to go hurt that other dog. It's like not on there. Like, you guys are kind of missing a big one. There's a good percentage of dogs that have aggression that just want to hurt another dog. And it's not on there because they can't say that. They can't act like dogs actually ever want to hurt another dog. So I basically I can't segment these in the way I thought I was going to segment them. So I basically said, there is only so many ways to fix aggression. So we're just going to go with the fixes and everyone's going to be plugged in. The type doesn't matter. There's 6 fixes. So that the reason the dog is doing it and the capability of the person don't matter. That's my Beckman aggression system, which you can get at, if you've done it for the aggression program, if my Beckman coaching people are tired of the Beckman aggression system and the explanation of it, beckmanpro.com. It's not in my puppy program, or of course you come to see me. I literally give it, when people come out for aggression, I give it to them. I go, here's the system. Here it is. And then I show it to them and I go, here's your problem and here's your problem. Desensitization. Your dog is unsocialized. We need to desensitize and socialize. That's going to get you 60%. And then you're weak as hell, dude. You need to be the boss. Here's the 5 behaviors to be the boss. A little more complex than that, but what am I going to do? 10 things under be the boss. I tried to, a system has to be simple. Now it's a problem. It's not a problem. It was a challenge to make the system simple. LTP dog training says, we are not tired of the Beckman aggression system. I joke with them and say they're tired of it because I talk about it so much. So that's whatever question I was answering. I go off. I get all excited, all worked up. Okay, maybe one more question. What time is it? I got things to do. I gotta take my kid to a wedding. Hey, Joel, can you advise on how to get started as a trainer/pro? My son hasn't been able to find much help locally, especially interested in your methods. We just had an email from someone who's going to sign up for Beckman, for the Beckman coaching program. He's almost 18. He's going to be taking over the business. We wouldn't usually let a 17-year-old in, but they're trying to get him primed to take over their dog kennel training place. And I'm like, okay, 17-year-old kid, he's not just interested, he wants to become, like, he's taking over the business. So we're going to let him in. So I don't know how old your son is, and I'm not just going to say Beckman coaching program, okay? But you should. I think it's the best way. You jump in, you're around a bunch of other trainers, we have a weekly live and all that. I think it's the best way. But I can also say, get your hands on dogs. You got to get his hands on dogs. Train your own dog. Have him get his own dog and train it. He's not going to be perfect. Train the cousins' dogs and the aunts and uncles' dogs. Get your hands on dogs is probably the number one thing. coupled with having some foundation of training, of operant conditioning, of classical conditioning, of which is not easy and takes many, many years to learn. I sat in class for years just learning it, then applied it with exotics. Then I went to the Harvard of animal training. It's not even a school, so I could say something else. I went to whatever version of business is the highest level, and I did it at SeaWorld. Then I started Beckman's dog training. It's a perfect path. It takes a long time to learn. I was also a sponge. If you were talking about training in class, I was a sponge. I don't know that I ever forgot anything about quote unquote training, the principles of training. So, Judy, BeckmanPro.com. Dude, I didn't even save that. Boop. Sign up for 3 courses. You can also sign up to do privates with me there. Or, I know it's confusing, Beckman'sDogTraining.com is an easier place, and I know it sucks. We're trying to merge the two right now. Beckman's Dog Training. This is where you sign up for phone sessions with me, private sessions with me. You can sign up at the other one, but Beckman's Dog Training is a little better. We're going to redo the website. It's old. Thank you, Judy. She appreciates my advice. Okay. As a non-force-free trainer of trauma, I feel triggered by your comments. He's, of course, kidding. He's 19, works at doggy daycare. Oh, bro, doggy daycare is the best education, and they don't think it. It's the best. You see so much dog interaction. You get your hands on so many dogs. There is not a better education. However, they don't know it. I used to do talks at doggy daycares, and I always start with, you guys know way more than you think. They have the foundation. Now they just got to get the learning and the, some other aspects of it. But just seeing all those dogs, touching all those dogs is a big deal. So that's good. I'd say jump into the Beckman. If he's a doggy daycare worker at 19, then he just needs some other stuff, and then he just needs to work on more dogs one-on-one, and he can start possibly charging for it soon. 19's young, but I don't know. I was 20. I was 25. 25? I was 25 when I started training animals. But 19's pretty young. All right, we have 8 minutes. Okay. It's similar to a person who abused people. You can't change the abuser. No amount of therapy can change them. They will harm again and again. All right, we're in the abuse of people topic like I was at the beginning. They just even want to anthropomorphize everything onto the dog. Okay. Always highlight Alexandra is her name. Was going to say the same thing, but you said it much better. Your friend. Okay, we're going to find your friend. Okay. You could go back in the comments. All right, let's see what your friend something said. Oh, this is actually an interesting question. Do you have advice on how to... Are you a trainer? Your friend Shmedma? Your friend's Shmida? Are you a trainer? I assume you're a trainer. Let's assume you're a trainer. Burnout as a trainer. Boy. Am I burnt out? I don't think I'm burnt out. You think I would be at this point. And I'm not. And the amount of dogs living at a facility that is a dog facility, and then the amount of dogs you think would burn me out at this point. I don't think I'm burnt out. I get a little tired. It's difficult at times. Burnout, though, I don't want to go to a job, sit in an office. I mean, obviously, don't want to do that, but I don't think I'm burnt out. So how to prevent it? Enjoy your dogs. There are times when I'm like, oh, more dogs. I got my live last week was like, answer your own damn questions. That's a burnout title if I ever Saw one. I'm like, I'm tired of answering freaking dog training questions. So yeah, maybe I am. Enjoy your dogs. Keep learning to a degree. Why to a degree? There's only so much information out there on behavior. Like there ain't no new information on behavior really, dog or people. Like Pavlov, Skinner, Freud, like Young, like I figured a lot of this stuff out a long time ago. That's where most of my training comes from. It's not some new person coming out with stuff that I'm like, oh. Burnout is training. That's a great question. Yeah, I keep learning to a degree. My point is, I'd probably go back and read a book on B.F. Skinner and read a book, then I would read a book on something new. You can understand Kellen Breland and B.F. Skinner. You would get more from being an expert on Kellen Breland and B.F. Skinner and Ivan Pavlov than you are from reading a new book, a book that's out in the last 20 years, minus Cesar Millan book, minus maybe one or two others. I'd go become experts on those people. So that's my point. Get my point? You, of course, get my point. Everyone gets my point. Think about it for a second. Hell, go read a book on, I don't even know. I don't know if Freud's right. People now say he's wrong. I'd go read a book on that before I'd go read a book on that. That's about the mind. Carl Jung, I don't know. I even said that. I don't need. He did something cool about the mind. I'd go become an expert on him. Might be wrong about a lot of stuff, but he might not. I'd become an expert on those people. And there's others. Who else? Go read the Bible. There's wisdom in there that you could probably apply. There are problems so deep amongst organisms that are so deep that prayer is an option, is probably the best option to fix that problem. And I know you might think that's a wild thing to say, but you haven't dealt with how deep a problem can be if you haven't thought prayer can be an option. You just haven't run into the problem yet. Okay? I know that's crazy to say, and I'm not some super Christian. But every single possible fix, help, needs to be explored in some of these unbelievably difficult problems. And again, if you haven't, every dog trainer worth their salt, weight and salt, has ran into multiple times where they go, I can't get more than 5% reduction in this behavior. Because these animals, they're not single cell beings. There is emotion and trauma and dynamics and sexual issues and all these things that are so deep that for me or any trainer to act like we have the answers. And it's when you have those literally those, I can deal with one of those things. I'm dealing with a female who has some crazy female on female thing, and that female was abused, and that female had babies, and then her babies were taken from her, and I'm dealing with a weak owner. What? When did I become a magician? Prayer is an option. It's an option because there's no other options. There's my point. Okay. You guys got me all worked up. I got myself worked up. This isn't very nice. I don't think that's very nice. Isn't hitting a wall like Isn't that a bad thing to say about women? Maybe he means it just hit a wall, like they can't go any further. But there's also hitting a wall physically. I don't know what he means. Pooping while standing is his name. He's in here a lot. I'm sure he's a great guy. He's got his wife there. Look, happy couple. All right, guys, 1 hour. I will see you next week. Thank you. BeckmanPro.com for all that good stuff. BeckmanDogTraining.com if you want to come see me, do a phone session with me, any of that. Love everybody. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.